Hello students, welcome to your English literature class. Today in this video we will be doing a poem 9 Gold Medals. I will be covering about the author, about the poem and critical appreciation of the poem. Students, for that you need to open your Treasure Trove Workbook Volume 1 Poems, page number 145. So the objectives of this video, that after going through this video, you will be able to learn about the author of this poem, about the poem, know about the suitability of the title, and critically appreciate the poem, learning about the style as well. So students, let us know some facts about the author. David Roth is a famous American rock vocalist, songwriter, actor, and author. Born in 1954, he became a successful solo artist. He is known as the original 1974 till 1985 and current 2006 till present lead singer of the Southern California-based hard rock band Van Halen. In 2012, Roth and Van Halen released an album, A Different Kind of Truth, which was highly acclaimed, underline the word acclaimed and write down the meaning, publicly praised. So their album, A Different Kind of Truth, was highly praised. In 1997, he wrote a New York Times best-selling memoir entitled Crazy from the Heat. Please underline the word memoir and write down the meaning, historical biography. So students, I hope I have apprised you well of the facts related to the poet of the. Now let us do about the poem. 9 Gold Medals by Roth is one of the most popular inspirational poems. It underlines the idea of empathy and human values. Please underline the word empathy and write down the meaning, idea of being sensitive to others. So students, 9 Gold Medals is a poem about human values of companionship, empathy and brotherhood. So it gives us the message that what values most in life is the sense of sharing others' pain and sorrow and trying to cheer up and encourage the weak and the fallen. It presents an imaginary situation of a race in which contestants are ready to compete against one another to win a gold medal. So basically, through this poem, poet celebrates human values of cooperation, compassion, empathy, fairness, and concern. He conveys this from the poem where 9 differently abled runners participate in Special Olympics in order to achieve gold medal. When they see a weak contestant fall down, they forget the desire to win the race. They all help the weaker contestant and go hand in hand to the finishing line. They are all awarded gold medals in appreciation of upholding the true spirit of sports. Students, please underline the word upholding and write down maintaining the custom of. So they basically appreciate the custom of true spirit of sports. So though they have practiced hard, they forget to win the race. What they focus on is to help that fallen contestant. So students, I hope you have understood the gist of the poem. And now let us do the poem in detail. The setting of the poem is that of Special Olympics, meant for differently abled persons. Such persons with some disability come to participate in various sports events. As the international sports event is very prestigious, having high status. So as the international sports event is very prestigious, every participant has in a lot of preparation and practice. No one wants to spare any pains for winning a medal, gold, silver, or bronze. Students, this poem is set in the backdrop of a true incident in the Special Olympics held in Washington. It was an event where there were 9 participants who participated in special race. So, coming up to the poem, each participant has practiced a lot to win medals, be it gold, silver, or bronze. One of the participants, the youngest of them, stumbles. Students, please underline the word stumbles and write down trip or fall. And underline the word staggers and write down the inability to stand or walk steadily. Coming up to anguish, write down the meaning anger. Dashed in the dirt, completely destroyed. So one of the participants, the youngest of them, stumbles, that is fall, staggers and falls on the track. He is more in mental anguish than in physical pain. He gave out a cry of frustration and anguish. His dreams and his efforts dashed in the dirt. Now what happens is that youngest athlete falls down to the ground during the race. He is more worried than having physical pain, as all his efforts to win the race has dashed into dirt. That means has gone in vain. It is here at this point that something unexpected, something unusual, and something surprising happens. The remaining 8 contestants stop and look back at the fallen contestant. So what is surprising for that fallen athlete and the viewers is that all remaining 8 contestants stop and look back at the fallen athlete with the intention to help him. Instead of continuing the race, they come back to help their fellow contestant. Then they all join hands and walk hand in hand to the finishing line. The audience is stunned. Please underline the word stunned and write down astonished. So the audience is stunned, astonished. Everybody stands up and claps. There are 9 winners instead of 1, and each one is awarded a gold medal. This is how the Special Olympics becomes a really special one. So following their intention, all 8 come back to help their fellow contestant, leaving the audience in surprise. Everybody appreciates them by applauding. All 9 contestants are awarded a gold medal, thus making the event really a special one. So through this imaginary situation, the poet wants us to learn to be empathetic. On seeing someone fallen, we should ask ourselves, what would I have felt if I had fallen? This query would lead us to be helpful, cooperative, selfless, and generous, that is, kind. Empathy is the foundation of all human values. So through this situation, for it conveys us the message that we should be empathetic towards others. That is the idea of being sensitive to others, which is the foundation of all human values. So students, I hope you have understood the poem in detail. Now let us do the different themes of this poem. The theme of the poem is that sports is not only about winning medals. It is also about learning the value of cooperation, sharing, competing, and complementing. So let's read the theme number 1, that is empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand another person's feeling from his point of view. It means to put yourself in another's shoes. It is this human value that is projected through an imaginary situation in David Roth's poem 9 gold medals. So in this poem, the poet David Roth has presented the idea of empathy and how human values are as important as the spirit of competition. When a weak contestant, unable to run, falls on the track and cries in frustration, the other 8 contestants, instead of continuing the race, turn back one by one and come to help of their fallen companion. So the poem presents the situation of a race where the contestants leave aside their desire to win the medal to help a smaller and weaker contestant, going hand in hand to the finishing line. Perhaps a look at the fallen contestant forces them to ask, what would I have felt if I had fallen? They realize the anguish of the fallen man. So underline the word anguish and write down severe mental or physical pain. So the other 8 contestants realize the anguish of the fallen man, and so they know what they have to do. They all join hands and walk to the finishing lines. All are awarded gold medals. Students, this is a brilliant act of compassion and empathy for the fallen athlete by the other 8 runners. So the next theme or message conveyed by the poet is of true sportsmanship. So today's sports events are highly competitive, as the stakes, underline the word stakes and write down something that is put up to be won or lost. So these kind of stakes are generally in gambling or any winning or losing situation. So as the stakes are very high, the sports persons are trained to be ruthless. Ruthless, having or showing no pity or compassion for others. In their approach, their only aim is to win at any cost. They conveniently forget that they are also to uphold the tradition of true sportsmanship, which is being helpful and cooperative. So students, commenting on today's athlete culture, we can observe that athletes are more disrespectful. The idea of friendly competition is missing. The only aim for athletes is to win at any cost, forgetting about the tradition of true sportsmanship. In the poem, the 8 contestants forget the dream of winning the race. They come to help a friend, who needs to be lifted up and encouraged. Their true sportsmanship is recognized and rewarded. So this incident is a display of true sportsman mentality and an eye-opener that the world now needs more such cooperation than competition. It is really a heart-touching scene to see the contestant coming and helping the fallen athlete, forgetting about their dreams of winning the race. So students, I hope you have understood the themes. Now let us understand the critical appreciation of the poem. Let us first start with the suitability of the title. The title of the poem conveys the theme of the poem. The title invokes a curiosity as to who won the 9 gold medals and for what possible reason. The poem has the answer. So the title of the poem, 9 gold medals, is apt and suggestive. It is linked to the main theme of the poem. Only 1 gold medal is generally given to the first winner in a sports event. But in the race described in the poem, all the 9 participants are awarded 9 medals for being so helpful and empathetic. 9 gold medals become symbolic of the victory of human values. So the title reveals the subject matter of the poem, where generally 1 gold medal is given to the winner, but here, because of empathy and compassion, all 9 participants are awarded 9 gold medals. So next point on the list is Inspirational Poem. So 9 gold medals by Roth is a simple yet moving lyric. It presents a simple imaginary situation and ends on a special note that true victory lies in being helpful and cooperative. The Special Olympics becomes really special. Then all 9 runners joined hands and continued. The 100 meters reduced to a walk, and the banner above that said Special Olympics could not have been nearer the mark. So, the poem clearly gives an inspirational message that true victory lies in being helpful and cooperative. Students, please underline the word exhorts and write down strongly encourage or urge. Underline empathize, which means understand the feeling of others. Underline crux and write down conclusion. So the poet thus exhorts us to empathize with those who are below or inferior to us in any way. We should share their pains and sorrows and cheer them up. Herein lies the crux of the sportsmanship. So the poet urges the readers to show empathy towards our fellow human beings, especially the ones who are inferior to us in any way. So students, next on the list is the style of the poem. First of all, underline the word lyric and write down the lyric of poetry expressing the writer's emotions, usually brief and in stanzas or recognized form. So, Nine-Gone Meadow is a simple lyric in stanzas. So, it is divided into 8 stanzas. Each stanza, with the exception of the last, has 4 lines. The last stanza has 1 additional line, which is only repeated to emphasize the message. So, it is in quite simple language, expressing the emotions of the poet. So coming up to rhyme scheme, the poem does not follow a set rhyme scheme. In stanza 1, for instance, there are no end rhymes. Students, end rhyme is when a poem has lines ending with words that sound the same, but these stanza, they are not having any ending rhymes, especially in stanza 1 and stanza 5. So in stanza 2, men and begin is the example of a near rhyme. In stanza 3, run and gun are 2 rhyming words. So in stanza 4, the rhyme is ABAB. Stanza 5 is without end rhymes. In stanza 6 and 7, the rhyme is ABCB. In the last stanza with 5 lines, the rhyming words are still and will, which are repeated twice, and near rhyming words medals and faces. So near rhyming words are the words which do not exactly rhyme or which do not exactly have the same sound, but they are quite near to the sounds of each other, like medals and faces. Repetition. In order to convey the fact that the Special Olympics was really special, the poet uses repetition as a device for emphasis. Said more than these words ever will. Said more than these words ever will. The poet says that he is falling short of words to describe the way the contestants displayed their empathy and kindness towards the fallen boy. So this is also an example of the use of inversion. In what is inversion? Inversion happens in English for emphasis dramatic purpose. So here, just to lay emphasis on the speechlessness of poet, he uses repetition as an inversion. Alliteration. Please underline the word deft and write down skillful. Underline the word stumbled and write trip or fall. Underline staggered and write walk or move unsteadily. Lad, a boy. So there is a deft use of alliteration in some lines as, but the youngest among them stumbled and staggered. So sounds S and G are repeated here. Then all 9 runners joined hands and continued. So here in this line, N sound is repeated, and that is why N is an alliteration here. So students, alliteration is basically the repetition of a particular consonant sound, right? So Anne lifted the lad to his feet. So sounds T and D are repeated here. So you can see how skillfully the poet has used alliteration in these lines. So students, I hope you have understood whatever I have covered in this video. So your homework for today is to revise theme, summary and critical appreciation of the poem. Thank you so much.